Hi guys, welcome back. It's your girl Yummy.com. Thank you for joining me, internet friends. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and overall vibing. We are back with another Tipsy movie review. I know it's a little bit sooner. I've been putting out a lot more of them this year. I feel like I've done Mean Girls, I've done Has Been Hotel, but there's just been so much good television. Oh my gosh, yay. So I wanted to talk about, if you can see by the title and my blue hair, Avatar, The Last Airbender. But first, I'm going to need my handy dandy notebook. Hey, aren't we glad that we have her? First, I'm going to tell you guys how I know Avatar. Because, you know, I think we all know Avatar the same way. Nickelodeon. I actually started watching Avatar when it came out. Like, yes, I'm that old. Like, when it first came out, I was like, yeah, this is my jam. Why are they changing Fairly Odd Parents? What's coming up next? I wanted to watch another Timmy Turner. And it was Avatar. It was the first episode of Avatar. And I was like, oh yes, okay. Who's this little bald kid? What's going on? What's the vibe? And I'm a big fan of mystical and mythical things. I famously also love when people get quartered off, like in Harry Potter where you have the houses Hufflepuff, or Divergent where you have the different groups? Divergent? I'm not Divergent. I want to be Divergent, but let's be real, I'm probably Abnegation. I love when people get quartered off and sectioned off into neat little bows. It's wrong, but I love when it happens. And having people quartered off and sectioned off into elements was very my brand, because I was also into astrology. So like
water, earth, fire, air.
And so I was like, okay, what's the vibe? I watched the entire first season as it was on the air, and I loved it. And then we got to the second season, which is my personal favorite season, Earth. I am an earthbender, just to let you guys all know. And I was like, oh, this is it. This is the show. This is that bitch. Like, I love cartoons. I've always loved cartoons, whether it be Powerpuff Girls, Timmy Turner, whatever. My first crushes were literally from this line. And Zuko, every time I try and make a list of cartoon characters that are very hot, oh, he's always there, because that's like one of my first loves. Does that say something about me? So I was there from, I want to say, inception. Not that that makes me better than anyone, but it is just a fact that I have. If you don't know what Avatar is, let me explain it to you, because you've clearly been under a rock for the last, I don't know, 2 decades. Avatar: The Last Airbender is the story all about Aang, who is the last airbender. He was named to be the Avatar at a very young age. I believe he's like 12. Wrought with responsibility, he decided to run away. But, as the gods permit, he ran away on the day where the Fire Nation decided that they were going to wipe out all the airbenders.
Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
So as to get rid of the one person who can stop them, the Avatar. Because the Avatar is born into each element every cycle of his life. He has many past lives. So the last Avatar was fire, the one before that was earth, the one before that was water, and then the one before that was air. So of course the next one would be air. And we meet our main character and titular child, Aang, who is the last airbender, because obviously they all got wiped out by the Fire Nation. He ends up getting unlocked from this bubble that he was stuck in by Katara and Sokka. Katara is the last waterbender of the southern tribe. She tries to stay hidden as much as possible. Her brother tries to make sure that happens. Her brother is not a bender, but he is a bad boy with a boomerang. And he really thinks he's a ladies' man, but I mean, his track record shows he's technically a ladies' man, but I feel like I don't get it. You know what? I don't want to yuck other girls' yums, but I don't get it. All that is to say, that's how he kind of unlocks himself from being stuck for 100 years. And because he was stuck and not dead, no new Avatar has been reborn. So they're like, where is this motherfucker? We must have killed him, but then he should have been reborn into water. What's going on? Where's the Avatar? So the Fire Nation are like all on high alert. And speaking of the Fire Nation, we get our main villain for season 1, season 2, and then our eventual foe turned friend in season 3. That is my love of my life, Zuko. Okay, you can't tell me that man's not perfect. So what? He has flaws. So does every good man. He's a good man, Savannah. A good man. I love Zuko, okay? He has flaws, sure. He has daddy issues, but who doesn't? Come on, we all have daddy issues and mommy issues. It's character building. It's what makes you YN. But yes, he is our villain, so we meet him. And then as they are making their way up to the Water Tribe for season 1, they go to the Water Tribe, all this stuff ensues, yada yada yada. Then season 2 is the Earth Kingdom. They're looking for an earthbender teacher for Aang, and yada yada yada. And it becomes, we meet Toph Beifong, who is my favorite character, and she's a blind young girl who is a earthbending master, ends up being his teacher, yada yada yada. We go to season 3. He gets Zuko, joins the team, becomes his teacher, yada yada yada. We continue, and then it all leads up to a giant battle during Sozon's Comet, which is where the Fire Nation pulls their power from to see who's the baddest of the bad. Zuko also has a sister named Azula, who's a bad bitch. We love her. I support women's rights and women's wrongs, and women's wrongs is Azula. Like, she's that meme of Cassie where she's like, if you want to treat me like the villain, I'll be the villain. Except for she always knew she was the villain. She said that when she was in the cradle.
Okay. Well, if that makes me a villain, then so fucking be it. I can play the fucking villain.
However, there was a live action before this live action. And it was directed by Mr. M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan is kind of my mortal enemy. I've gotten into so many arguments with film kids, which shout out to my friend Billy. He's like, I think he kind of likes M. Night Shyamalan, and I hated M. Night Shyamalan, so like at work we would just discuss. And he kind of almost convinced me, but he's personally sent here from hell to make me both questioned, befuddled, and miserable. And he created Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. It was atrocious. It's been known, mocked, and critiqued to death on the internet. You don't need to hear my opinion of it because I know that it sucks, and we all know that it sucks, and it just sucks. The bending looked terrible. The story looked weird. They mispronounced Aang's name. They called him Ong the entire time for some reason. It was very strange.
My name is Ong. And I'm the Avatar.
There was also the notion of just terrible storytelling with such beautifully written characters. It was the most, fumbled the bag of source material to this day, I think. I think that is the biggest fumbled the bag of the source material. It's Mr. M. Night Shyamalan. So, of course, people were anxiously anticipating when Netflix told us that they were going to do a live-action series of their own. For multiple reasons. 1, the first live action was a total failure. 2, Netflix has a terrible track record of canceling things. And 3, Netflix also has a track record of creating this mini-series world that we live in where it's like seasons are no longer 20 episodes as if they were in the cartoon or in sitcoms. They're literally 8 to 10 episodes is the Netflix format and how they want to crank it out. So there was also a lot of worry when it came to this. And then we saw the casting and we were like, I'm a little bit less worried. Okay. Yum. Mostly talking about Mr. Daniel Dae Kim. If I tell you how many episodes of Hawaii Five-0 I watched just for that man, you'd be embarrassed of me. Embarrassed. And I don't regret a single moment of it. With all that being said, now that we talked about the past iterations of Avatar: The Last Airbender, let's talk about the current iteration that it is now. And instead of comparing it to the cartoon, which I loved and adored, I compared it to the movie, which was, in my opinion, terrible. That may be unfair, but it made sense to me because it was the easier one-to-one, it being live action, and live action cartoons are almost never done well. Cough, cough, Disney. So while I do mention stuff that I liked and disliked, and some people may not agree, I generally thought it was okay and not as good as One Piece or Jungle Book, but better than Lion King or Beauty and the Beast. So I may seem overly positive, especially for the reviews that it's probably getting, but I genuinely liked it, so I just chose to keep most of the positive stuff and let people like Friendly Space Ninja address the qualms, queries, and stuff that should be tweaked. Leave it to the experts. I'm going to break this down episode by episode. I usually do an overarching review and then do my like wrap up and tipsy, give it a drink. But I recently saw in a comment that someone asked me to down by episode. They wish I would have did it by episode. And while I'm trying to meet in the middle of like having one full video that has episode by episode, so it's like kind of an amalgamation of how I usually do it and then their constructive critique. Shout out to that person. And with that being said, I'm gonna open my book and I'm literally gonna read you and go through exactly my thoughts as I was watching it. I watched it on the bus coming back from Maryland, and then I watched it again when I was a little tipsy, when I was drunk, which is I guess the whole premise of this tipsy movie review. And I took notes because I was drunk, so I was like, these are gonna be my unfiltered thoughts. Episode 1.
Why did the Fire Nation start this war?
Some people say it is within our nature to expand and consume.
Too much airbending backstory too early. The first, like, I want to say 12 to 15 minutes, maybe even longer, was all about the airbenders, their life. And in the show, you don't really get that. You really start off with Aang coming out, like, you start off with Katara, really, and then, like, Aang coming out from the bubble and all this other stuff. And then you kind of get the flashbacks of the Air Kingdom peppered into the first season. This one, it was like, just here's all the stuff you need to know about the Air Kingdom. Here's their whole life. I said, I weirdly felt less devastated watching them being completely annihilated than I usually do and seeing Aang go back to the destruction. By that, I mean, I preferred it with the not knowing how the airbenders were destroyed and all this other stuff, and then seeing Aang go back to the Southern Air Temple, which is where he's from, and seeing like the carnage and the devastation that was wrought because he's been asleep for 100 years, and this is past history for everyone. So it's like when you're upset about something but your friend doesn't understand why you're upset about something, but it just means so much to you, but times 100 because he was literally gone for 100 years. He doesn't even know that they were annihilated. I thought it was more impactful that way, to have it as a flashback or have it as a have it as a moment where he goes back to it and then we see kind of his life and how he lived it. I think that they gave it to us earlier so that we felt more connected with these characters, so we would feel more devastated when they were gone, but it didn't really work out that way for me because I'm kind of crazy, so maybe. Aang is just a living monologue.
Gyatso says I'm supposed to be the Avatar. Me. Monks don't even trust me to feed the baby bison, and I'm supposed to save the world?
Who is you talking to?
Oh, Aang is just living life one monologue to one monologue at a time. Literally, the man is like 12, I guess. Like, so you would expect him to be like as chipper, but he's also a monk. Like, he was raised by monks. Like, imagine a 12-year-old raised by the Dalai Lama. Obviously, they're gonna be a little bit more introspective than your average kid.
6 legs, horns, brown arrows, sky bison. Sky bison!
Repeating it doesn't help.
Sky bison.
But he was really like, I want to say the first half of the show, he was really monologuing his monologue. He was like, I'm a soliloquy this shit and you're gonna hear it. So that was interesting. I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but it was interesting. I was like, if he was a worse actor, it would have been way worse, but he's a good actor, so I like let it slide. The overarching location shots are so pretty. This is something that is throughout. You see the Earth Kingdom, you see the Water Tribe, you see the Water Tribe South and North, you see the Fire Nation, you see all these overarching shots, and they are stunning because they're all CGI, but they just all look so beautiful, like real and beautiful. I assume they're all CGI because I don't think they're building ice castles out there just for Avatar: The Last Airbender. I need more comedy, especially from Uncle Iroh and Sokka. It makes me worried about Toph for the next season. As I said, Toph is one of my favorite characters, and one of the things that I love most about her is how witty and funny and dry her humor is, and it balances out with Sokka, who is like just a dumb himbo humor.
You know, a friend of mine actually designed these war balloons. No kidding. Yep. A balloon, but for war.
That I like, and Uncle Iroh, who is like willfully, wistfully joyful. I think that Uncle Iroh and Sokka were not as funny in this as I would like them to be. That may have been because the show took a more serious tone, but I would have liked a little bit, few more chuckles. They did make me laugh more than anyone else in the show.
He looks like a Momo, doesn't he? Just like how you look like a Sokka.
Can't argue with that.
Bet you taste like chicken.
But I would have liked a few more chuckles. Gran doing the speech, when the Fire Nation attacked, really sounded like a politician, and I kind of hated it. But I like when Katara does it. I don't like when Gran does it. I don't know why. Firebending is and always will be the coolest bending. Change my mind. It is the only bending that also generates from you, which is like why I'm also like, yes, the Fire Nation is wrong. Genocide is wrong. How dare they? But also, they are the only ones who have that ability.
It just looks the coolest. Like, let's be honest.
Where's
And then Azula has blue flames. Bro, I just got like jetpacks on my feet and arms. Like, I gotta fly around. Just, dude, it's fire. Did you never like, like spark a lighter and you were like trying to like low-key bend it?
No.
Or like by the stove. Yeah.
Water bending, you're using the water around you. Air bending, you're using the air around you. Maybe it does generate from you, I can't really tell. Earth bending, you're using the earth around you. Fire bending literally just comes out of you. So I kind of understand why they think they're superior, but I also am like, no, you're not. But it is the coolest bending because I feel like it has the most showy use of martial arts than anything else. Firebending is more like traditional Chinese martial arts where it's like showy flips. Like if you're watching the 8 do random shit, like that's just put fire emojis around him. That's what it looks like to me. I think the point of the airbending exposition was to make us revisit the devastation and feel more, but again, the opposite happened. The air temple needs to be in more ruin is also another note that I had, because it was kind of shaded the same, which of everything, which is fine, but it didn't look as decrepit as it should, you know what I mean? But that's a nitpicky note. That's episode 1 notes. Episode 2!
He ran! The ultimate warrior! He's a coward!
Aang getting Zuko's book and using it as a plot addition is brilliant. It builds the bond between Zuko and Aang immediately, and ultimately will make Zuko being his first teacher, which will make it a full circle moment when he becomes his firebending teacher or firebending master. As well as it makes Zuko feel like a bigger threat because he has all this knowledge. He's not just running on rage, which he is a lot of the times, but he has all this knowledge and forethought to write and kind of builds this tension between the two. It also helps cover up like the truncating of the plot, like because they have to do so many things and can't just wander around to get answers. Having them work off of Zuko's notebook really does help with the plot holes that happen when you shrink a plot like this. So I really did like and appreciate that. It was a really good plot device. I like that Katara is less mothering, but she's still mother. She has a whole thing where she's like a mom of the group. It kicks in a lot more during season 2, so I'm also just holding my breath to see if it continues this way or if she's gonna kick up the mom gear.
The truth is, sometimes Katara does act motherly, but that's not always a bad thing. She's compassionate and kind, and she actually cares about me. You know, the real me. That's more than my own mom.
But I like this Katara. It's like less mothery, and it makes me feel better because like she's supposed to be Aang's love interest like down the line, which don't get me started on that. I don't like it. I'm a Zutara fan, so like whatever. However, and or with her being less of a mother, I feel like if they were to go that route, follow the cartoon, make them fall in love, it feels a little bit less weird because she wasn't so much of his mother. Again, Aang full of soliloquies. It's adorable, and he plays between the balance of wise monk and child really well, especially in that episode. I love when he goes into the Avatar state. It is so fucking cool. Like, I was worried that it was going to look so fucking stupid, but it looks so fucking cool, especially with each of the avatars. I love that. Suki proving once again, earthbending women are the best. By earthbending, I mean Earth Kingdom women. Yeah, Earth Kingdom women are the best, period. Point blank, period. She's proving it, the point, before I have to. Avatar Kyoshi is so fucking cool. I always love Avatar Kyoshi, but like, what kind of avatar do you have to be to have a whole island like dedicated to your craft, then that's the kind of avatar. She was so fucking cool, especially in the fight scene. She's the original girl boss. I love that he learns how unscary sacrifice and faith can be. He kind of has this fear of his sacrificial lamb situation that's going on, which is kind of originally why he ran away from being the avatar. But he really like kind of hones and learns from Kyoshi that like power is not always the scariest thing in the world. It is those who wield it terribly that are. And I like that. And again, at the end, Daniel Day Kim is so fucking yummy, bro. So fucking yummy, fight me. Like, maybe I look at him and I'm like,
maybe the Fire Nation has a point.
But not really, but like, yes. Episode 3.
We in the Fire Nation have always prided ourselves on our resourcefulness. Isn't that right, Azula?
Bad bitch alert, Azula.
Wait, they wouldn't hurt a fly. I would. I will beat you. Like the that you are. Try me. I feel like everybody is capable of murder if you just believe.
That's all I wrote. Bad bitch alert, Azula. You can already see the crazy in her eyes. Like that Sarah from Has Been Hotel, who has like the fire in her eyes. I love that. I already like the way Azula and Fire Lord Ozai are playing their characters. I really like that you see them build that tension, and you can kind of see her cracks forming and her plastering over them already from the jump, and I really do love that. And the way that Daniel Day Kim plays Fire Lord Ozai is so frustrating.
Or did you expect my men to just lay down their arms after you slaughtered their Fire Lord?
But in the best acting choice way possible, because it's like the ability to never know exactly what he's thinking, that is so crazy, and I love it. And then I wrote ... Okay, Katara, I get it. Jet is kind of hot.
Let's have at it, the turnip sack. Sure you can make that look good too.
It's the scene where they're going into it. I don't like him when his hair's down. Not that I don't like him, but he's not my favorite when his hair's down. But when they're going into Omashu and he's in the little cart, hot. I was like, yes, I get it, Katara. He is hot. I too fell for his act. Even though I've watched this show 1,000 times, I too fell for it. I like the nod to the Cabbage Man. It was very cute. It was a little excessive at some point, but it was cute for it was. And then I wrote here in all caps, 338 was made for Zutara shippers, literally made for a fan edit, changed my mind, Zutara forever. I will die on this hill. I think that Zuko and Katara, though they do not have as many moments together as they should, are really hot together. Like, I mean, they're children, but like are really cute together. Fire, water, like the beauty of harmony. Like she hates him more than anything by like when she was like, I was the first person to trust you.
Remember?
I love that. It's so cute. Her rage towards him, and I think that they could have made a really cute couple. But
no need to imagine, 'cause I know it's true. They say all good boys go to heaven, but bad boys bring heaven to you. It's automatic, it's just what they do. They say all good boys go to heaven, but bad boys bring heaven to you. Falling for him was like falling from grace.
that moment was made for Zutara shippers, I will say that. Zuko is only getting hotter with every fight scene and pensive look.
I don't need fire to defeat this boy.
He was owning it, episode 3. Episode 3 is I was like, you cast the right man. This man, correct. I love it. I love the casting. I was like, not worried or like not like fully sold. I was like, okay, he's good. Let's like everyone in the show is good. But episode 3, baby. I think episode 3 and then episode 4 he did something else, but he was good. He was good. I was like, I like when he gets angry. And it says, sometimes the idea was there, but the execution isn't. And that, I believe, is about the scene where Zuko and Aang are fighting, and they're in, like, the scarves or the fabric. there's a cooler way it could have been shot, and I get the idea and how, like, I've seen it done. I can't think of the exact moment, but I've seen it done in a really cool and interesting way. I think this one just lacked it just a little bit. Like, it was still a cool thought, but the execution just wasn't completely all the way there. Now we move to episode 4.
He said it should belong to someone destined to do great things. He gave me strength.
I'm glad that the earthbending doesn't look as stupid. One of the biggest issues with, and I think the meme of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie that M. Night Shyamalan destroyed, was that the earthbending was so terrible. Like, all the bending was pretty bad, but the earthbending was garbage. And I'm glad that the earthbending does not look as terrible. It's not as cool as the other bendings. And this is a very different opinion. My sister loves the earthbending in this, and I don't have a problem with it, but I'm just like, the firebending looks mad cool. Like, the waterbending looks mad cool. And the earthbending looks cool. Not mad cool, but cool. Omashu was never my favorite plot point anyways, so this is by far not my favorite episode. But the fight sequences are good, and I love the look into Uncle Iroh's past. It would have been more effective if he wasn't just a seemingly peaceful person, but a jovial person, which is what I was saying before about him being like partially comic relief. So the shock of him being an extreme killer and the sadness of his son dying would be more dramatic. So that's another reason why I'm like, I wish there was more jovialness in Sokka and Uncle Iroh, because both of these people are seemingly happy and they are the comic relief, and they both end up having these dark kind of histories to them. Sokka's is further in the future when we get to the season finale, when he loses the love of his life, or for the love of flavor of the week, whatever, and he really destroys him for a while. But Uncle Iroh loses his son, and he was known as the Dragon of the West or whatever. Like, he was a cold-blooded killer that waged war on Ba Sing Se for 600 days, 60 days, something of that. But you would never know it by how we perceive him. So it's kind of weird. It's not weird, but it kind of is less impactful when we don't see him as jovial as he is, as like a good-natured, jovial, tea-loving uncle. We see him as just kind of a peaceful man. It is still jarring. It's fucking jarring, man. Shits and gigs. But would be more jarring if he was more funny, I would say. Episode 5.
What is it?
Nothing.
Tell me.
Your gauntlets are laced incorrectly, but no one will notice.
What? Help me fix it.
From the first moment Zoku starts the episode... Zoku. Why did I just mix Zuko and Goku? From the first moment Zuko starts the episode on the ship, I knew, oh, this is him. I love it.
One of the resupply merchants mentioned something about kids playing with ice blocks near Senland Pass, but he was probably mistaken.
So someone saw ice in a place where no ice should exist? Most people would call that unusual, wouldn't they?
That's what I wrote in quotations. This is him. I love it. I think that's what I said out of my mouth. It gave a level of Zuko's like actually being a child here that was another moment, and it's literally the moment where he's talking to his General G, whatever, on the ship, and he's like, yeah, they were playing with ice. He's like, there's ice where ice has never been before. Like, he's like, are you stupid? And I just love that energy. I was like, that's a child shit. That's like child petty shit. And I kind of really love it. And it gives, again, more dimension to Zuko's character that I'm excited will build up for season 3 when he eventually becomes a good guy. I love it. I may be biased, but I love the unsettlingness of Ozai, because you can't really tell if he truly does care for Zuko or if it's just a facade to keep Azula in line.
He's the one who displayed resilience and dedication. That's what I expect from a future heir. Not self-serving flattery and coy whispers.
And it adds to Azula's crazy / insecurity. And that's what I was saying before. I really do love the way Daniel Day Kim plays Fire Lord Ozai, because it's like, he's like, if he dies, so be it, but I do kind of love this child, and it's really a mind fuck.
Azula, you're the best. Everybody knows that. You're perfect.
It's not good enough.
I will watch Arden Cho do anything. I'm convinced.
I'll let it pass because your dad's kind of cute. Here's the thing. Some of us don't need saving.
Some of us have got this world figured out. So you got your firebenders and your earthbenders and your whatever benders. They all want something, and they're all willing to fight to get it. So if you're smart, you just sit back and wait for the dust to clear and then pick through the broken pieces for the leftovers.
Literally, the woman can do anything. I've loved her since she was the Kitsune in Teen Wolf. You can prove me no wrong. I didn't watch anything. I didn't watch Teen Wolf after she left. I didn't watch the Teen Wolf movie. I will not support Teen Wolf until they apologize properly to Arden Cho and find a way to get Dylan O'Brien back. But she was the perfect Kitsune, and I loved her in this. I also do love that she called Uncle Iroh cute, which is like screams daddy issues, but I do love the energy.
Feel free to count it.
I trust you. You know why?
Because if there's any missing, you'll come after us?
Because you're so cute.
Arden Cho as June made my heart feel whole. I love Arden Cho. I get so excited whenever she scores a big project, and she's absolutely amazing as June. She felt like the character from the cartoon brought to life from start to finish. Even though her storyline in the reboot is different. But she was so good. She was so fun. She absolutely nailed it. 10 out of 10, no notes. And side note, the fact that Arden turned down the god-awful Teen Wolf movie because they refused to pay her fairly, and that she went on to do this instead makes me so happy for her. She's a super underrated actress. Hollywood, cast her in more things.
Episode 6.
Please, let me save them.
No.
I love pre-scar baby Zuko. He was such a sweet boy. I love it. I understand why his dad was like, this motherfucker's too soft, because like Dad and Azula are crazy. They've been showing crazy. And Zuko's like, I just want to help the world kind of energy, and it's very cute. I love it.
Said, it's a terrible plan. Soldiers are gonna die, and for what? It's unworthy of a Fire Nation officer.
It's clearly got burned out of him. I love how all the avatars are so opposite from what you expect. I love the blue mask plot point, and this did not disappoint. I love the blue spirit plot point. It is so cool to see peaks of Zuko actually helping Aang. Like, I think it's really cool to first see. And it was amazing. And I love how it proves that Zuko is just a cut above everyone else. Like, yes, he's the prince, and maybe that is what gives him his status symbol, but he's also one of the best fighters in the entire nation. And you cannot disprove that. He literally beat the shit out of everybody, not even using his firebending, and I love it. The most emotional I have been this whole time was during Zuko and Aang's conversation, and it brings Zuko back to being his unofficial first teacher. I was fucking moved, okay? I was moved from my soul with that conversation. When Aang is like, goat hair or rabbit hair? Like, he's like,
goat hair. It's stiffer, more control. My teachers made me practice every morning. I wasn't allowed to do any fight training until I had done 100 vertical strokes and 100 horizontal.
Me too. Except mine were for spiritual studies. A lot of the time when I was supposed to be meditating, I was actually sleeping. I always got caught. Probably didn't help that I snored.
Really trying to, like, he's like asking a question and it's not the question you think he's gonna ask, so you're just like, and you're like, oh my god, my feels are feels, and it really is just so good.
I know I shouldn't have taken your notebook. And I'm sorry. It's been a lifesaver. Really. You have information on all the past avatars that no one else has. All the air nomad monks, they're all gone. So all I had was your notebook. I can't tell you how many nights I stayed up reading it. You helped me a lot. I mean, it helped me a lot.
Like, I'll just put as much of the clip as I can because there's no way to describe it without being like, yes, this is what I wanted.
If we knew each other back then, do you think we could have been friends?
The transitions between old Zuko and new Zuko are a little goofy sometimes, but they're also very cool. I kind of really like them, appreciate them. Daniel Day Damn Daddy Kim is literally what I wrote in all caps. Daniel Day Damn Daddy Kim. Daniel Day Damn Daddy Kim. Did the Fire Nation have it right? Cause damn. And then I wrote, someone cue Daddy Issues by Demi Lovato. Here's a montage of Azula and Zuko. Lucky for you, I got all these daddy issues. Literally. Episode 7.
I'm sorry, but women don't fight. We use our skills to heal, not to harm.
Zhao sucks. He always sucked. He sucked from the beginning. I hated him. I hated his face. The entire thing. Still hate him. Princess Yue in the cartoon is great, but I like the way that she is hella charming in this show. Far be it from me to talk about a bitch's bad lace front, but I don't know what they were doing to her in this show. Maybe that's the reason I didn't care too much when she died, because her lace front was just so bricked up. In the cartoon, it kind of looks a little bit bricky, but the one thing Mr. Shamalama Ding Dong did do was make sure her lace front was set in the movie, and I actually appreciate that. I never got like a charming vibe from her. I got like a really cool kick-it princess, like maybe like Mia Thermopolis in Princess Diaries, but like this Princess Yue is like chill. Like I'd grab a beer with her. I mean, if she wasn't dead, but like so cool. I like her energy. I'm all for Katara getting healing powers, but sexism is bad.
I do not remember names. I am female, of course.
When they were talking about Umi, which is Avatar, the water Avatar, I cannot remember what his name is. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. But his girlfriend, who he lost, was a black girl named Umi. And all that makes me think of is Umi, the singer. So I just wrote it down because literally that's all I thought of. I feel bad for Karuk. That's his name. I wrote it down. Thank goodness. I feel bad for Karuk. He was keeping everyone safe and got no credit for it because he was waging war in the spirit world.
After I became the Avatar, I discovered dark spirits were on the verge of crossing over into our realm from the spirit world. I had to stop them. So I spent my life fighting them. The war I'd waged on the spirits damaged my body and corrupted my soul.
It's kind of fucked, but sucks. Azula's bad bitch behavior is bad bitch behavioring. Bad bitch alert, bad bitch alert, bad bitch alert. Stand up to your dad, bad bitch alert is literally what I wrote. I don't know what to tell you. Throwing fireballs at your children is not effective parenting. I don't know who needs to hear that, but don't beat your kids. Don't throw fireballs at them. Not how you raise healthy children. Because look at the ones he has. Yikes. Girl bossing at the... I'm really just loving on Azula in this episode. Girl bossing at the highest level. Katara v patriarchy. And I love the juxtaposition of Azula, who's always fighting, and Katara, who's always healing, taking back their power by doing the opposite against two bigoted men. I love it. Because Azula is very crazy. She's always bloodthirsty, very fighting, and she chooses not to fight. She said, send me out into the world, father.
You want to test me? Set me loose. Let me go into the world and show you what I can really do. I'm through playing games here.
She's like, I'm withholding the one thing you want, which is my bloodlust, until you do as I say, and I love that. Katara, again, she's a healer. She is always a warrior, but she's also known as, she is the healer. She is the peacekeeper. And you know what she did? Fucking challenged Paku to a battle. I was like, hell yeah, bitch. Hell yeah. I literally was also like, just loving it. Episode 8.
You found a master, haven't you?
Yes. You're looking at her.
Katara v patriarchy round 2. She mercs. I watched that battle and I said, maybe waterbending is cool. I don't know. Not that I hated it ever, but I've always been a big proponent of earthbending in the cartoons and firebending just always overall looking the coolest. Maybe the waterbenders have a point, who knows? I love seeing Katara's level up moment when the random guy calls her master, and then it happens like a few more times. People like refer to her as Aang's waterbending master.
Don't try to take them on yourself. Let me know.
Yes, Master Katara.
What? I'm not a... After all, the Avatar still has to learn waterbending.
In that case, he couldn't have asked for a better master.
Especially at the very end, we love it. We love it. Sokka and Momo are the same, change my mind. Sokka is Momo in human form. They both have the same energy. And it was like that in the cartoons, and I like that they continued it in this. Mom and Dad are fighting.
Stop the violence.
I wrote this down during the battle between Katara and Zuko, because I was just like, Mom and Dad are fighting!
You learned me tricks. But I didn't come this far to lose to you.
Because again, it's a Zutara shipper over here. But I just thought it was very, very funny. I think the battle was really cool and like, it really interesting. But I also love when Aang goes, go easy on her. Go easy. And he's talking to Katara, but Zuko answers is like, no, I'm not holding back. He's like, I'm not talking to you, bitch. She just murked the whole man outside. You don't want to see what she can do to you. And he did see what she could do, and did he regretted it or not? I don't know, man.
I'll deal with him. Go easy. Enough people have been hurt already.
I don't care.
I wasn't talking to you.
I love that the breathe out that he does that helps Zuko melt the ice, and it eventually is like a full circle moment because it reminds me of like when Katara is fighting Azula in the final battle. Spoiler alert. She like does like a breathe out technique kind of that like materializes the water around him. Like she freezes everything and then makes herself fluid to trap someone, and it reminds me of Zuko's like breathe out here to like melt her ice that he like entrapped her in. So I kind of liked the juxtaposition of that. It was really cool. Again, when the ocean thing came, I wrote in caps, this is why I don't fuck with the ocean. I can't swim. My cousin almost drowned me in an ocean when I was like 13, and I've never tried. I tried to avoid going into the ocean as much as possible since that day, and I don't fuck with the ocean, and this is exactly why. It's crazy. It's crazy, I tell you. I hate Zhao, all caps. I always hated him, but how dare he break Zuko like that? But you really do see how young they are in that moment when Zuko is like really like distraught over the thought that his father could just not love him and just be using him to shape Azula. It breaks his heart, and I hate that Zhao like told him that. I hate that Zhao it was a good addition, but like it did break my heart.
It was all a game. And the winner is the one without the scar from Daddy. Ozai was just using you as motivation for your sister. You're lying! Admit you're lying! Who do you think was my ally through all this?
I don't know why, even though I like you in this, I don't feel sad when she becomes the moon. I don't know why I don't feel sad, but she does become the moon. I didn't feel sad in the cartoon. I don't feel sad here. I've only seen the bitch for 2 episodes. I'm not like, it's like when with the airbenders again. I'm like,
yeah, in theory I should be sad, but I'm fucking not. Like, I'm not, I'm sorry.
And then in all caps, the last thing I wrote, does he love his son or not? And that was clearly about Fire Lord Ozai.
If Zuko is strong, he'll survive. If not, sometimes you have to sacrifice the weak to keep yourself strong.
Do you love your son or not, bitch? I need to know. I need to know. Anyways, that's my episode by episode breakdown. This video is obviously going to be a little bit longer than normal, but I'm going to try and edit it down as much as possible. I do have some overall ending thoughts. I feel like this was a really good entry point for people who've never seen Avatar. I know a lot of people rewatched all the episodes and then went to watch this. I did not do that, and I think it was better off for me because all the points that I saw in all the episodes are what I genuinely remembered. Like, there's a lot more stuff that happens, but I don't really like remember it. I haven't watched it in like a year or two, so like it's not clear in my mind. So I wasn't like, oh, they missed this, oh no, especially because it was so truncated. So I think that did me a service, and for people who did the rewatch, it may have done them a disservice. I do also like, of course, that they broke up the seasons, that they didn't try and do the whole thing in like one season. I love the actors. I think that they're really, really well done, and I think that you grow to love them just like you grow to love the characters in the show. I think that like the extra Azula-ish is like, I love it. You know, I love Azula.
Yeah, well, all dear old Zuzu wants is to make it back here and take away everything I've worked for.
Technically, he is first in line to be Fire Lord.
I'm excited to see Toph in the next one because she is my favorite character. I'm an earthbender. I'm dressed like a water. I got water on today, but when season 2 come around, you don't want to see me.
Also, let's acknowledge the fact that Dallas is the new Netflix Asian boy flavor. His DMs are about to be blowing up the same way McKenzie started blowing up after One Piece.
体を動かすっていうことは小さい頃からやっていて、きっと今の仕事にもつながっているなっていうことがたくさん。
And Sang-hoon started blowing up after XO Kitty.
Hi, I'm Tawan Lee. I'm with Bureau Malaysia, and we're here to play Explain the Gram.
They're about to be a dangerous triangle, the Iron Triangle, the trifecta, and I kind of live for it. Again, there are a bunch of stuff that could be changed, could be better. Katara is lackluster. Even though I do like that she's not a mother, she's still not the Katara that I would prefer, even though she's, again, not my favorite character. There is clearly no waterbending from Aang, which is, I think, the biggest downfall of the entire season. And I think that the dialogue could use severe work, even though the camera work is great.
Now, with that being said, I need to give it a drink. And the drink that I'm giving it is called Turtle Time. It is a clear drink that is gin. Basically, it's like a mojito with gin a little bit. It's clear like water, which is the first chapter. Turtles live in water, even though they're more closely related to Earth, I think, in this. But I'm going to say Turtle Time. It's clean. It's crisp. It's just enough of what I like and a little bit of like what I don't necessarily need, which is gin. But the gin can't ruin it. It's still good. It's still delicious. And it's for sure better than most of the drinks that I've had in my life. M. Night Shyamalan. So, Shyamalama Ding Dong. So that's what I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it a Turtle Time. With that being said, I'm Yemi.com. Thank you so much for watching, internet friends. Don't worry, I'll be back, so stay tuned.